Good morning, friends. Well, today is Wednesday, so I'm kicking off this vlog midweek, and I am headed to a very special appointment. You see, I have never had my hair colored, and I'm about to get, I don't know, I'm not sure if they're doing a balayage, I don't know what they're doing, but I had an itch about a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to change things up. I'm not doing anything drastic. I know that I'm a dark-haired girl. I will remain a dark-haired girl. But yeah, I'm getting ready to head out to the same place where I get my extensions, and the other gal is doing my color, and I could not be more excited. A little bit nervous. I don't even know how long this is going to take, and I have meetings later, but I'm all for it. So I don't know about you, but when I head to the hair salon, whether it's a routine sort of appointment or if I'm going to try something different, I always try to look my most put together. Now my hair is slicked back because it's dirty and I know they're washing it, but sort of put together, I think, a sharp outfit so that no matter the outcome of my hair, at least I can feel good about the rest to come. So I hope to take you along for some of it. We'll see how this goes, but wish me luck. So I've never really have done one of these in the mirror kind of things. I don't really know. Anyway, I think I should probably look for a better mirror. This is in our corridor, and as you can see, this is clearly Doggy Toy Depot. So anyway, I just thought this was the best way that I could just show you what I've sort of put together for today. It is still surface of the sun hot outside, and so I'm trying to dress accordingly. Of course, I know I will be in air conditioning, but nonetheless, here we are. So I have this sleeveless sort of mock top. I'm very into mock tops right now. I think for me, I think for anyone, it's really, really flattering. And I think for me, you know, and I think an older woman, not that I'm old, you guys, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not aging myself here, but I just think it's really, really flattering, and it makes me feel, I don't know, it makes me feel really good. And I love the cut of this tank. Believe it or not, I got it a few years ago at Target, of all places. I love to get my tank tops at Target. They're just no fail. And then I have some Levi's jeans on, a black leather belt, and these are some slingback pumps. Well, I'm not sure if you can see those. Okay, some slingback pumps, and these are also a couple of years old. Don't mind telling you, obviously they are inspired by Chanel. They are not Chanel. I got these a couple of years ago from Nine West. So I really need to get in the car now. And so, gosh, I think I've been excited, and now I think I'm getting nervous. I have to gather my pictures to show her for inspiration. So let's go. Well, I am just out of the salon, and to say that I am pleased would be an understatement. I am so genuinely excited and thrilled with the way this came out. Now, I was not looking for a drastic change. I wasn't looking to literally change my hair color. I just wanted some more dimension and depth, and I felt like my hair was looking dull. Again, I mentioned I was feeling a bit restless in the last couple of weeks, and I look forward to diving deeper into that with you shortly. But for now, I need to head to my client meeting. I cannot wait to share my experience and some insights as to what I know has been working for me, at least on the beauty side of things here in my corner of the world. So anyway, so thrilled. Her name is Manu. I love it. I love it so much, and I feel like $1,000,000. Friends, well, today is Saturday, and I had every intention of following back up with you on Thursday following me getting my hair colored. And I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying I still very much love my hair, and I still very much love my hairdresser. I take full responsibility for what I'm about to show you, if you have not noticed already. But I had a pretty considerable allergic reaction to either the hair dye or I don't know what it is. I'm sure you can see it here. I'm going to go up. This is, again, now Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, this is days later, and this is considerably better. I mean, much improved. It was blistered all up here and going all the way down here, and I had a few spots around here on my neck. I'm not sure if you can still see them. So I have been trying to go very easy with my face and makeup free. Thank goodness for the Aleavia skincare products that I have, which I showed you a few vlogs ago, which I'm going to show you again as soon as I get inside. But I wanted to be in natural light when I showed this to you. But I will say, all the protocol was in place. She went ahead and tested, and particularly on this side, which now it makes sense, I felt like a sting, and I was like, ooh, and then it went away. So I dismissed it, and we carried on to business as usual. And so the most alarming part of all of this, I mean, the blisters were unseeming, that's for sure, were my eyes. My eyes were swollen. They were so swollen. They're still kind of swollen, and I have to put like antihistamine drops in my eyes, and Systane, which is kind of like another eye drop, which is more of a lubricating eye drop. My eyes almost hurt, especially in here. So, and then don't forget, I had that sty in my eye last week. So, you know, I'm firing on all cylinders. But again, no, I really love my hair. I just haven't been able to appreciate it as much because I'm trying to keep hair off my face. I'm trying to keep all of this clean, and with my serums and all of that. But no, we're trying another recipe today to beat the heat. My husband is making Korean barbecue. He's doing the ribs for himself, and he's putting shrimp on for me. And I'm going to make a spicy Asian cucumber salad, which is a fan favorite. And I'm going to take you along while I prep that. And it's such a nice, despite the fact that it's a bit spicy, it's a refreshing thing to have, because yes, in case you're wondering, we are still in the throes of this intense heat wave. So I'm going to get back inside to the air conditioning, and I'm going to prep that salad with you. Here for the spicy Asian cucumber salad this is everything that goes into sort of the marinade, or what makes it so tasty and delightful. I already put 2 teaspoons or tablespoons, I'll double check, tablespoons, hang on, of garlic. Anyway, I always go for extra garlic because we love garlic. That's just the way it is. And this is everything else. We have some sesame oil, and I will put the recipe in the show notes below. Rice wine vinegar. This calls for like a Chinese red chili oil. There's an Asian market that we usually do get this from, but we had neighbors from our winter park home that brought this back from us. This is a red chili oil from Italy. I'm just going to use it. We have it here, some sesame seeds, and of course, naturally, we have the industrial size of soy sauce. And then there is also a tablespoon of, it calls for white sugar. I only have cane sugar here, so that's how it goes. So I'm just going to pour this in here and mix it up and whisk it all together as the cucumbers continue to dry on the towel. And then I will just shake it all up together and refrigerate it in the oven. It is currently 12:30 in the afternoon, so this will be beautifully marinated in time for dinner. Hello, I'm air conditioning. So I wanted to speak to how I am sort of treating this allergic reaction. I think it's a contact dermatitis, and trust me, I went on Dr. Claude or Dr. ChatGPT or Dr. WebMD, and I feel like I had not a mild allergic reaction and not quite a severe one. The severe ones I saw were people's faces were completely swollen and eyes swollen shut. My eyes were close to swollen shut, but not quite. So it almost felt like I had a lens over my eyes, like I could feel like a hood over them. Anyway, so I would call myself somewhere in the middle. So I really expected this to take a good 7 days before any relief. I will say I have taken an antihistamine in the morning. So the first night I was feeling terrible. I took Benadryl before I went to sleep because Benadryl just knocks me out. And then I've been taking Claritin in the morning. And I think that's been helping sort of the angriness of this, like the burning and everything like that. Earlier this morning, I only felt it burning right here. And ironically, there's nothing raised over here. It's just really over here. And I feel some minor irritation on this side. But again, I wanted to speak to, I think, the methods that I've been using that have been helping to accelerate sort of this healing, because it's truly only been 3 days like this. So first things first, I mentioned Aleavia, and I've had the opportunity to use Aleavia now for about 4 months, and it's been just a game changer. I love that it is completely clean. I'm going to put on my glasses here just so I can read the ingredients for you, and this is what's been really helping. I also had some pieces of irritation here and on the back of my neck as well, but this is the facial cleanse, and you will see it here. Now I will read it to you. Obviously it's ultra pure, but the ingredients are coconut oil, aloe vera powder, dead sea salt, sea kelp, castor oil, moringa oil, sea buckholm seeds. There's just nothing that I cannot pronounce in here. It's all natural. And I just sort of love their promise here, and it states it on all of their labels. The Aleavia's products are always free from artificial fragrances, dyes, sulfates, and parabens. It's vegan and gluten-free. So this feels really great to wash my face with in the morning, and of course because I've had some of it on my body, and these are things I've been using anyway. That's my facial cleanser, this is my body wash. I think I mentioned in my previous vlog, I stand with this green tea and honeysuckle. I don't think I ever want to try another fragrance, and again, it's all natural oils that go in here. So this is the body wash that I like to use, and it just feels so luxurious. I feel so moisturized and everything, and again, just so soothed. 1 second, because I want to show you the serum, and that has really helped. Hang on. Okay, so this is the Biome Luxe. This is the serum. Now I have had opportunities to speak with Kelly, who is the founder of Aleavia, and what this sort of promises to do is it's designed to smooth fine lines and wrinkles, restore radiance, and promote a healthy, youthful glow. I know that if you were to ask her about it, she would say that it once you apply the serum and you use the product regularly, you almost appear as if you have this inner glow. I would agree with that. I feel like since I've been using that, I have that too. And I'll have to talk to her about this, but I can tell you that the moment I put this on, even before I got this allergic reaction, my face didn't feel irritated before, but it almost feels very soothing and calming on the skin. It's just like a layer of just like zen on your skin. I don't know, but I very much accredit Aleavia, and thank you, Aleavia, for helping with this. And then after I wash my face, before I put on any serums, you may have remembered I was talking about this red light therapy mask, this LED mask from Inia. So I have been using it on the red light setting specifically because that helps to decrease the inflammation. And I tell you what, 3 days later, you have to believe me when I tell you, you should have seen me even yesterday or a couple of days ago. So I feel like I'm on a good path, and I'm so happy because I am getting a facial on Tuesday, and I don't want any compromises. I want my full facial. So I feel like I am on the right track. Good morning, friends. Well, it is a new day, and I'm feeling so much better that I decided to bring myself to life a little bit with a little bit of makeup here. So it is a quiet Sunday morning. We got up really, really early. I think our air conditioning was being very finicky last night, so we were a little warm. Thankfully, it's working now. So we just got up and at 'em super early in the morning. My husband has been dry aging steaks in our refrigerator in the garage. So he was busy cutting all of that up, vacuum sealing it all and everything. And I was just doing all of my reset things that I like to do on Sunday. But before I get into what I really wanted to speak to you about, which is RSVPs. Of course, in my line of work, in weddings, we have to manage. We talk about RSVPs quite a lot, but I'm seeing this en masse. This isn't all just sort of targeted just towards weddings. This is in general, and I really want to have this conversation. I want to have a better understanding as to how people are RSVPing, or more importantly, why they are not RSVPing. But before I get to that, I wanted to show you some fun things a fun thing, I'm waiting for another one to come in. I ordered some new stationery. This is rather long overdue. I love our stationery now. We have this beautiful card. I'm not showing you the envelope. Our envelope has our former address pre-printed on the envelope. So I clearly can't really use that anymore. I guess I could order envelopes that fit this size, and maybe I will. I still have a considerable amount of this stationery left. But I did order a new set, and that's coming in soon. But I did order, this is my stationery I use primarily for business correspondence. And similarly, I had a freestanding office building a few years ago that I no longer have, and it has that address pre-printed on the envelope. So it's a very niche envelope. It's also a dark blue, so it doesn't go. Again, I have quite a bit of these. I might save this, but I thought this would take on two birds with one stone. I also had personal stationery with my address printed on those envelopes before, and we will be in this new house here. November will mark a year. So again, this is long overdue, but I love this. It has LL on there, and usually a lot of times I'll just sign off on a quick email or quick text correspondence or something with LL, my name on there. And then I love the back because it carried this monogram. Not sure if you can see it there. It carried this monogram throughout with this really, really lovely pattern. This time I did not that I foresee a move in our future. Please, Lord, no. But I did not pre-print the envelopes this time. Rather, I had some really beautiful labels made, and I had the same labels made with our Michigan address. So now I could just take both sets of correspondence to both houses with me, because I use them in both places. You know, if we are invited somewhere to dinner, whether it's there or here, or sort of any lovely gesture or gift that's been given to us, I always follow it up with a thank you note. And I tend to do that on our personal correspondence. So, to the matter at hand. Perhaps it's because I have been chained to my desk and or in client meetings for their weddings for the past 2 weeks, or have I been home 3 weeks at this point? I think so. It is such a blur. We are clearly in the throes of all of the details, and with that comes I help them with their invitation verbiage. We work on the timeline for getting all of this stationery sent out. Then we design the details card together, the RSVP card together, and my office manages all of the RSVPs. Now, of course, if I have a client that's been dreaming about receiving their RSVPs their whole life, they get to do it. But I've definitely noticed some trends and some ebbs and flows when it comes to RSVPs. So I thought we could talk that through. So when an invitation is received, and let's just say, in this example, we are talking about wedding etiquette, but this will carry on into just sort of everyday social graces. And what happens is oftentimes, now this isn't required, but more times than not, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, my clients do send out a save the date. Now, save the dates are typically sent out anywhere between 6 to 8 months before the wedding. Now, a lot of times this timeline gets pushed up a little bit, meaning they send them out a little bit earlier because by and large, particularly here in Florida, these weddings tend to be destination weddings for their friends and family. So they like to give them and offer them a little bit more time to make their arrangements. So whatever the timeline, the responsibility for you as the couple would be to send out the save the date. The save the date simply needs to say you and your fiance's name, the date that you're getting married, and the city. Now, it doesn't have to put the venue there yet. You don't have to put any other sort of details on there yet. But what you really should do, and again, now this is 10 out of 10 of my clients. I don't think I have any clients at the moment, nor have I in quite some time, that are planning their wedding without a wedding website. Now, herein lies bridging over from traditional etiquette to where we are now in modern days. Hence why we just sort of need to be able to adjust our sails. So with all of my clients, we do have a planning portal in place for them, and each of them have a landing page. It has many, many tabs in there, but chief among them is their guest list. From here, we can manage sending out their save the dates, their invitations, their RSVPs, as I mentioned, and of course they have access to this guest list, and they can then send out any and all thank you notes as needed from this list as well. Now, for the save the date, in addition to your names, the wedding date, the city where the wedding will be hosted, you should put your wedding website, and only the link is necessary, because in that website link, you will put all of the details that will pertain to your wedding or wedding weekend. And again, this is something that we're seeing more and more of. It's not just the Saturday or the Friday that people are getting married. It is a full-blown wedding weekend. It is an experience oftentimes. So on the wedding website, what you'll do is you will then perhaps put the venue. You will put accommodations nearby if you have established any sort of room blocks, either at the host hotel or nearby hotels. And you should offer hotels, whether through a formal room block contract or just as suggestions, and I can get into that at another time with you. Because there is a difference, because you really cannot sort of assume that everyone can, or if they are willing to pay for a rate at either where the host hotel is or any of the nearby hotels. You want to give them options. In addition to that, on the wedding website, what I like to have my clients do are put sort of favorite things to do in that area or noteworthy things to do. So we research if there's an area where there is perhaps like a dry bar. And for those of you who don't know, a dry bar is a business model where women can go in and have their hair blown out and styled for a special event or for the work week or for any old day. Also a place to get a manicure, gentlemen where they can get maybe a quick shave or a quick haircut. We like to put all of those things in there because if we assume they're there for the weekend and we want to make things as easy as possible for them, we want them to find the places where they can get sort of these amenities done very close by. And maybe some noteworthy things to do, favorite restaurants you have in the area, etc. Now, that was your responsibility as a couple, sending out your save the date and developing your website. Now, if I'm the recipient of said save the date, what I do at this moment is, as soon as I receive the save the date, I go ahead and check the date. I check the date on my calendar. I check with my husband to make sure that we have no conflicting events or celebrations on that same weekend. And if not, and if we want to go, we go ahead and we mark it on our calendars. And I'm checking the website because what I want to do is check if we need to travel, if there are room blocks, any information they've given me on the website, I want to make sure to notice so I can make my arrangements accordingly and in a timely fashion. Next, what you will be doing as the wedding couple is you will be sending out your invitations. Now, traditionally speaking with etiquette, and just for reference, you all do know that I am a certified etiquette coach as well as being a wedding planner, but I have volumes and volumes. I don't know if we can see them, those books right up there. I have volumes and volumes, not to mention the criteria that I studied that's in my bookshelf over there with all of my exams and everything like that. So this is something that not only am I professionally versed in, but I'm extremely passionate about. But when you get the invitation, regardless of the formality of the event or the wedding, now it will have all of the information you need to know there, right? You'll know the couple's names. It'll have the venue where it's being hosted, the time of the ceremony, where the reception is, if it's not in the same place. If it is in the same place, it will usually say something like dinner and dancing to follow or reception to follow. And then it should give you a dress code, and it should give you a very clear and concise dress code. An example of that is black tie. Black tie is black tie. And I'll insert a graphic here that explains exactly what black tie is. So as the couple, traditionally speaking, you would send out your wedding invitations 8 weeks before the wedding. Now, in modern day and in the most previous of years, well, in most recent years, and I would say within the last 5 years, it's just the United States Post Office has not been the most efficient, so I have been bumping it up with my clients to 10 weeks, allowing for some of that wiggle room for the invitations to land where they need to land, with plenty of time for guests to be able to RSVP. So 10 weeks pretty much before the actual wedding date. Now, if this is a true destination wedding where we are leaving the country, I'm helping my clients plan their wedding outside of the United States, and or I know there is a considerable contingency of the guest list that lives out of the country and they need to travel back in, I then bump it up again to 12 weeks. Now, I don't really think we need to go much earlier than that, and the reason is I know the propensity to try to get the word out as soon as possible so you can make your final arrangements. It just truly is putting the cart before the horse. Anything before that is truly just unnecessary, and it will just have you spinning your wheels. Now, remember, they have had a save the date. They know when you're getting married. This is just truly a matter of plugging in the details and now receiving their RSVP. So you, as the guest and the recipient of said invitation, it is your responsibility to RSVP. Now, a hill that I have been willing to die on for many, many years, that I am slowly peeling myself off the cross and the proverbial hill, is the mailed in RSVP. Now, I will never apologize for saying that this is my preference 100% of the time and always. To me, it is the right thing to do. It is the most elegant thing to do. And so if you are doing the formal invitation where you have the RSVP card in there, it will have either your address, or in my clients' cases, it has the couple's name on there, and then it says care of Lisa Lyons Events with my address on there, so that our office can record the RSVPs. And of course, you have provided a stamp on there. So truly, it cannot make it any easier for you as the guest to go ahead and mail in that RSVP. Now, folks who are the couple or the people or mailing out the RSVPs, your RSVP cards should be as clear and concise as possible, so to save yourself work in the end. For instance, it may say M with a line through it, and that's so that the recipient can write Mr. and Mrs. Michael Lyons. Oh, I I finally said his name. I mentioned in last week's video if anyone knew my husband's name, and I didn't get any comments on there, but there you have it. My husband's name is Michael. So we would write our names. Now, oftentimes what I see when we receive the RSVPs are Mr. and Mrs. Lyons. And so we have to, if it's a family of Lionses, then we have to try to figure out which one it is. So as a guest, your responsibility, please, would be to write your first names, wife and husband, not just Mr. and Mrs. Michael Lyons, because in the end, when it comes to the wedding day and we have formal place settings, we of course want to put each guest's name on there and not just by a Mr. or Mrs. So that's a fun detail there. Then what you want to do to make it completely transparent and as clear as possible to both the recipient and to you as the person recording the RSVPs, you want to write number of guests, or you can say something like, we have reserved 2 seats for you, meaning don't invite your children, don't invite a +1 if there is not a +1 listed on the invitation, etc. And then finally, what we would write, of course, if there are any meal choices, they can check that off. And then I would say something like, please initial your meal choice, because if you just put check marks, then we have to guess which guest ordered the fish, which guest ordered the beef. So you do that, and then another very kind and respectful thing to do would be to put a line on there that says, please list any dietary restrictions, or you can just write allergies. Now, as the recipient, when you get the RSVP and you're going to mail it in, I mean, you have to save the date. Mail in your RSVP. Don't make these people wait. There's so many details hinging and contingent on your RSVP. Now, just as I mentioned, I would put both of our names. I would put Lisa and Michael Lyons, 2 attending. I have an eggplant allergy. I'm also pescatarian. I would put that in the dietary restrictions, and then I would initial LL for the vegetarian meal. And of course, my husband is having the beef, so I would initial ML over on that meal selection so that they know. Now on to the electronic RSVP, and I get it now. I get that it's the easiest thing. I think it's the easiest thing, because I'm telling you what I'm seeing the same attrition rate of those who are not sending in their RSVPs as I do the mailed in RSVPs. Now, what happens when your RSVP date is August 24th and August 24th has now come and gone and you're still waiting to hear from 24 guests? And this is not uncommon, by the way. So if you are experiencing this, please don't feel that you are especially unique, and I do not mean that in a derogatory way. I just don't want you to beat yourself up over the fact that people are not RSVPing. This is a plague. I said it. So if these people have not RSVP'd, then it is your job as the host to reach out. Now, how you reach out is up to you. It depends on how you correspond with these people on a regular basis, whether that be by phone, by email, or text. But it is your responsibility as the host to follow up. And again, we do have to assume the benefit of the doubt here. I mentioned the lack of efficiency with the USPS. Perhaps they did mail in their RSVP and it's just lost in the mail system somewhere. Sometimes I've seen where they've not even received their invitation, and it's just bizarre. So we always want to assume the best and not necessarily the worst, but you know who you are if you're not an RSVPer. Is that you? Okay, huge tangent there on the whole RSVP and the wedding invitations and all of that. But you know what? In addition to lifestyle and everything that I share here with you on the vlog every week, it makes sense that I share a great deal of what happens on my business side as well. And that includes all of the wonderful weddings that I have the great honor to help my clients plan. But I wanted to speak also to how this parlays to RSVPs for just even more casual gatherings like a dinner party, or a birthday celebration where you all decide to go meet somewhere and celebrate, or if you reserve a private dining room in a restaurant for a book club or mahjong, or any sort of gathering that requires an invitation or something that you were invited to. There seems to be this plague, where people just are not RSVPing, or worse, they're RSVPing and then just not showing up. And maybe even worse, probably not worse. Worse is just not showing up, but calling maybe an hour before saying that they just can't come. And not that you owe a large excuse, and you know in your heart of hearts if there is a valid excuse, but an hour before, you knew that day you couldn't come. And so you know what goes into planning not just a wedding, but a dinner party, an organized event where you have to make reservations, is it's not just a financial investment. It's also an emotional investment, and it's a time investment. So with weddings in particular, the reason why there is an RSVP due date on there, it is for good reason. There are a lot of details that still need to be secured by that due date. So the couple owes their vendors decisions on how many, if they're renting items, for instance, like if they're renting specialty chairs, or charger plates, or china, or even floral centerpieces. If you're expecting 150 guests and you are still waiting to hear from 24 guests, you're certainly not going to reserve all 150 items, and that can be less 2 tables, less 2 centerpieces, less 2 rented linens, easily 20 chairs. Those numbers add up, and that is the financial investment. Now, the emotional investment there too is that these people are also so emotionally tied to celebrating with you. So the fact that you've somewhat disrespected this due date means that it shows a lack of courtesy and respect. Now, if you are the couple and you have an RSVP due date, and the due date is August 24th, and that date has come and gone, then it is your responsibility to go ahead and follow up with those guests as to what their attendance is or is not. Now, we do want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps their RSVP is somewhat lost in the mail system, or what have you. But however you correspond with these guests that you've invited, whether that is by phone, by email, or text, you can go ahead and follow up accordingly so you can get those RSVPs recorded. Now, I will say the new thing here that I've been seeing, and it's not necessarily new, but this is the hill and the cross that I've been trying to keep myself on this whole for years and just largely failing, is the electronic RSVP. And I guess this is easier. So I hear. At the very least, maybe it's more cost effective, and that I understand. It's one less piece of paper, it's one less stamp, and these things do add up, and I do understand. I'm not going to say it's easier though, because I'll let you know what I see. I have clients that are both, most of my clients thankfully still do the traditional mailed in RSVP, but a lot of them don't. And what we are still seeing when we're recording the RSVPs is that that due date comes and goes, and we still have to have our clients follow up with those clients. So if you are the recipient, go ahead and send that RSVP by the due date. Now, when it comes to dinner parties where, again, you're hosting, you're preparing food, you're taking out the time, you're taking great care, you're setting tables, perhaps you're even procuring and renting some items to accommodate more guests, or you're even reserving the room in a private dining room at a restaurant, you're making these reservations, you're probably agreeing to a food and beverage minimum. When you have someone that says they're coming and then they don't come, or they don't RSVP, it's such a mess. Now, you've completely destroyed the dynamic of the entire evening because plans have been in place. So I implore you, If you are a recipient of any type of invitation, just in the moment when you can, put it on your desk, check your schedules, RSVP accordingly, and then go about your day. All right, friends, that's going to do it for me for this week's vlog. So tell me below in the comments, what kind of RSVP-er are you? I think we all know what kind I am. Listen, if I get it, I'm checking and I'm RSVPing right away. I just, you know that Taylor song, what's the line in a Taylor Swift song? Get it off your chest, get it off my desk. I'm a huge get it off my desk person. On this side of the desk to that side of the desk. Done, done, done. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me this week, as always. And if you like this video, it would mean so much to me if you would go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And also, if you've been watching this video for the first time, or maybe you've watched a few of these videos and you have not quite yet subscribed to the channel, it would mean so, so much to me if you did. So I cannot wait to see you in next week's video. I wish you the most wonderful week. And until then, bye-bye.